Why are there not more people talking about HECS-HELP loans? So, you're thinking about university or maybe a fancy diploma? That's a fantastic step towards your future. That's great. But then comes the dreaded fee discussion. The cost of higher education can be daunting. Don't stress. That's where HECS-HELP waltzes in to save the day. It's like a financial superhero for students. Think of it as a loan from the government to cover your course fees. It's designed to make your educational journey smoother. You only start paying it back once you're earning a decent wage. This means you can focus on your studies without immediate financial pressure. It's there to make education accessible without emptying your pockets before you even start. Imagine the relief of not having to worry about upfront payments. Now, let's break down how this whole HECS-HELP thing actually works. It's simpler than you might think. When you sign up for a course, you usually have two choices: pay the fees up front or defer them through HECS-HELP. This flexibility is key. If you choose HECS-HELP, the government pays your course fees directly to the university. It's a seamless process. You don't see the money, but it does mean you have a debt with the government. This debt is manageable and structured to be student-friendly. Don't worry, it's not like a scary loan shark. It's more like borrowing from your cool uncle who doesn't mind waiting to be paid back. It's a supportive system. But, and it's a pretty big but, this loan comes with a catch: interest. It's important to be aware of this. Yep, your HECS-HELP debt grows each year with something called indexation. This means it adjusts with inflation. Think of it like the price of milk going up. Your debt increases a little bit each year to keep up with the cost of, well, everything. It's a small but steady increase. The good news is that the interest rate is way lower than what banks usually charge, so it's not all doom and gloom. It's a fair deal. The beauty of HECS-HELP is that it doesn't discriminate. It's available to all eligible students. Whether you're fresh out of high school or going back to study after years in the workforce, HECS-HELP is there to lend a hand. It's never too late to learn. It's designed to make education accessible to everyone, regardless of your background or financial situation. Inclusivity is at its core. So, go ahead, chase those dreams, and let HECS-HELP worry about the bill, at least for now. Your future is worth investing in. Now, before you get too excited about this whole free education ride, let's pump the brakes for a sec. It's not as simple as just signing up and getting your education paid for. Not everyone automatically qualifies for HECS-HELP. There are specific criteria you need to meet. There are a few hoops you need to jump through first. Firstly, you need to be an Aussie citizen or have a permanent humanitarian visa. This is non-negotiable. International students, unfortunately, miss out on this one. They have to look for other financial aid options. Secondly, the course you're eyeing off needs to be approved by the government. This means it has to be on the list of eligible courses. Don't worry, most legit courses at unis and TAFEs are covered. But wait, there's more! You also need to be enrolled in a Commonwealth-supported place. HECS-HELP isn't a one-size-fits-all deal. It's more like a buffet with different options. It comes in different flavors, each tailored to a specific type of study. Understanding these options is crucial. There's HECS-HELP for your standard uni courses, which most undergraduates will use. FE-HELP for those fancy postgraduate programs, which can be quite expensive, and VET student loans for vocational courses. These are great for hands-on training and skills development. Each scheme has its own set of rules and repayment thresholds, so it's important to know which one applies to you. This can affect how much you owe and when you start repaying. And just when you thought you had a handle on things, there's another acronym thrown into the mix: HECS-HELP. This can be a game changer for some. This one's for the adventurers out there who want to study overseas. It helps cover the costs of living and studying abroad. HECS-HELP helps cover the costs of living and studying abroad, but be warned, it comes with a higher interest rate than HECS-HELP. So, plan accordingly. So, if you're thinking of becoming a globe-trotting student, factor in those extra costs. It's an amazing opportunity, but it requires careful financial planning. The point is, HECS-HELP isn't a one-size-fits-all deal. There are different types of loans available depending on your study path and personal circumstances. There are different types of loans available depending on your study path and personal circumstances. Make sure you choose the right one for your needs. Before diving headfirst into a course, take the time to understand the ins and outs of the specific HECS-HELP scheme that applies to you. This can save you a lot of stress and money in the long run. Knowledge is power, especially when it comes to managing your finances. The more you know, the better prepared you'll be to handle your educational expenses. All right, let's talk about everyone's favorite subject: taxes. Yes, I know it might not be the most exciting topic, but it's crucial to understand how it impacts your finances, especially when it comes to HECS-HELP. Don't worry, this isn't as scary as it sounds. In fact, understanding it can help you manage your money better and avoid any surprises. Remember how we said you only start repaying your HECS-HELP debt once you're earning a decent wage? Well, let's dive deeper into how this actually works. This is where the taxman comes in. The Australian Taxation Office, ATO, plays a key role in managing your HECS-HELP repayments. Each year, when you lodge your tax return, you'll need to declare your HECS-HELP debt. This is an essential step in ensuring your repayments are calculated correctly. Based on your income, the Australian Taxation Office, ATO, will calculate how much you need to repay. This calculation is precise and ensures fairness. Think of it like this. The ATO takes a tiny slice of your income pie to pay back your HECS-HELP debt. It's a small portion, but it adds up over time. The more you earn, the bigger the slice they take. This means your repayments will increase as your income grows, ensuring you pay back your debt proportionately. But here's the kicker. The ATO doesn't just take a random guess. They have a structured system in place to determine your repayment amount. They use something called a repayment threshold. This threshold is a specific income level that dictates when you start making repayments. This is the minimum income you need to earn before you start making repayments. If your income is below this threshold, you won't have to pay anything. The repayment threshold changes each year to keep up with the cost of living. This adjustment ensures that the system remains fair and manageable for everyone. So if you get a pay rise or snag a higher paying job, don't be surprised if your HECS-HELP repayments go up too. It's a natural part of the process. It's just the system's way of making sure you're contributing a fair share based on your income. This ensures that everyone pays back their debt in a way that's proportional to their earnings. The good news is that if you earn below the threshold, you won't have to make any repayments at all. This can be a relief for those just starting out in their careers. That means more money in your pocket for now. You can use this extra cash to save, invest, or enjoy some of life's little pleasures. But remember, just because you don't have to make repayments straight away, doesn't mean you should ignore your HECS-HELP debt. It's important to stay aware of it. It's still there, lurking in the background, and it's important to factor it into your long-term financial planning. Being proactive about your debt can help you manage it more effectively and avoid any future financial stress. Now, let's dive into the nitty-gritty of these repayment thresholds, shall we? As mentioned earlier, the repayment threshold is the minimum income you need to earn before the HECS-HELP repayments kick in. Think of it as the starting line of your repayment race. Until you cross that line, you're off the hook, at least for now. The government reviews and adjusts these thresholds annually to keep up with inflation and average wage growth. So don't get too comfortable with 1 year's threshold. It's likely to change the next. You can find the most up-to-date thresholds on the ATO website, so make sure to check them regularly. Here's the kicker. The repayment threshold isn't a fixed number. It's a sliding scale, which means the more you earn above the threshold, the higher percentage of your income goes towards HECS-HELP repayments. It's like a progressive tax system, but instead of funding public services, you're paying down your student debt. Now, you might be thinking, this all sounds a bit complicated. And you'd be right, it can be. But don't fret. The ATO has plenty of resources and online tools to help you navigate the world of HECS-HELP repayments. You can even use their online calculator to estimate your repayments based on your income and debt amount. Knowledge is power, folks, so arm yourself with information and take control of your HECS-HELP debt.